Hey guys, Goose out of 13th here with some quick news about the late February update for GBO2. So, I gotta talk about this real quick too, because the new suit for this week is actually going to be the EWAC Jegan. I can't believe that, to a certain degree, I was actually talking about this suit the other day and like, oh man, maybe we'll get another EWAC, blah blah blah, and it would be a support. Well, we got it, except it actually is not a support. In this case, it is going to be a 550 general unit, a variation of the Jegan D type, equipped with the early warning unit for reconnaissance missions, equipped with 2 types of secondary armament, but they can put enemy aircraft into a spot state, sharing enemy aircraft information with allies. Also causes spotting and radar failure at regular intervals for a certain amount of time after the weapon is used. Sensor unit area. As equipped, can be expected to provide excellent combat support with its outstanding electronic warfare capabilities, even though it is a general unit. As its main mission in reconnaissance, it does not have many weapons to attack, but because it's developed after the Jegan, which has the high general unit specialties, it can also adapt itself to battles with fierce combat. While forming artillery barrages from the mid and close range, it can also be possible for the mobile suit to melee battle with its 2 different weapons in its arsenal. It can bring good results and change the tide of the battle also with its sub-weapons. So let's take a quick look at the video for this thing. There's a lot of other little stuff going on with this that it doesn't really show in the video itself, but you know, usual overview. So arm mounted for the actual camera, still has the usual radar pings and stuff like that, it seems. Actually rocking the grenades and stuff along with the rifle, so not bad, since it is also based on the D-type. I can dig it. Alright, so going back down here, mobile suit equipped with sensor unit area and changed weapon. Head part is quite big, right? Let's talk about the performance of this weapon then. So there's also the support unit, the Isaac, so they're already bringing that up. They can blot spots temporarily and use its recon sensor AoE, but this unit's sensor unit area is showing its effect until the heat percentage gauge goes overheating. While performing the general unit purpose as mentioned above, of course, when using the dispatch, it's possible to change its weapons too. That's something else I'm not super sure about, other than it just being like maybe a different main weapon or something. While performing the general unit purpose as mentioned above, it can also dispatch with overwhelming abilities as a mobile suit that can adapt to different situations. So I'm definitely interested to see some of the nitty gritty for like what that entails and how it's going to be different, especially since they did go ahead and throw it in as a general unit. And at the upper bound, I thought that they were actually going to make this another 500 suit, but they actually bumped it up a little to being a baseline 550. That being said, it's probably going to be another simple, or like another single level suit. But then we get into something that's not quite as exciting, but also pretty cool. People talk about builds and stuff a lot, right? And we have a lot of people who share builds and yada yada, but we also have something now with automatic equipping, or custom parts auto equip feature. So in accordance with the system that focuses on custom parts, auto-equip feature has been implemented. Let's try to auto-equip feature using the EWAC Jegan. So they go into it. The interesting thing about this and what it says here is we continue matching to your liking as ground endurance, let's say. It's always going to be tough, so you can also see what is equipped with the slot that it's using, parameter changes before the auto-equipped. So not only are you going to be able to auto-equip, but you're also going to have several categories, either space, ground, endurance, maybe offense and defense, depending on what the other set things here are. And then of course they also go on to say that of course you can also add and remove parts by yourself later too, so you can do it and remove them, or say you want specific parts in there. So in this case they say if you want special armor for feet by yourself, you can add it by hand and then do the auto equip after, and then it'll just fill in the spots. So that's really cool. And just like that, fill the NC slots in your units with the auto-equip feature. I have several custom parts myself, but don't know what to equip first. Won't be a problem for the new pilots anymore. So I can already hear most people probably dunking on this feature, especially if they're not new, and saying that probably some of the filters and stuff are okay, but the others kind of suck. We'll just have to see. It's nice that you can use it without it having to be completely blank, and that you can do your own stuff in the beginning and then fill in the rest. And of course, the more hashtag relatable situation that they bring up here. Of course, variant pirates also have their own preferences in favor of custom parts, but you can either try them by obtaining a new unit, or for those who say, I didn't equip any custom parts, there's no time before the dispatch. Auto equip feature will save you in those times. Please try it. It's too real. Definitely too real. If you ever just wanted to throw it in real quick and didn't have time to fuck around with it, then here you go. You just barf out a quick setup and then just mess with it later after the fact. And of course, they are thinking ahead. So certain things like having a suit with no shield, shield reinforcements will be excluded, or having something that doesn't actually charge, the focus rings, or Psychommu. And here's actually a fun one here. So certain parts won't overlap, or things that don't overlap won't be put together like that. But also, if mobile suits have parameters passing over the limit, so say you have your defense maxed out on a certain thing, it'll actually skip over that and goes to the next one that's low, or the next, what it says, the next necessary stat, and start adding to that based on whatever your filter is. So that's cool. They're definitely thinking ahead for that, I would hope, right? But here's something I wasn't expecting to see in here. At least not this soon. Ranked matches are coming back, and they did more adjustments after the fourth one. So a couple things. Aiming for the top of the 20 people for group ranking, and even more challenging element, total ranking. So different from the within group ranking, this choice is a general total ranking among the pilots, since only a handful of people can earn this ranking. Regarding its rewards, it's not luxurious rewards, but it's rewards with privilege, such as limited emblems that can be attained. Okay, so they're just kind of doing that for real now. So now we have something else. Going in for Players League D through S and the Obtainable Rp. So initially, it would just be, the overall personal score, battle result, latest rankings, and then they would total it up. But now they're adding something else. Furthermore, the higher placed league ranks are, the more RP has been attainable, and they're doing it by a multiplier. So it starts from D. D only has ×1, and it looks like to A it actually goes to 1.5. I don't know if that means that S doesn't change from that, or if it's only slightly higher from there. I kind of wish they would have shown that. It doesn't seem like they did in here. But it is going to be a multiplier depending on your league, so that, the overall kind of reflects too. Some people will probably still gripe about that, considering that it's just like, I guess, rated privilege or whatever, but just so that, especially when you consider the fact that there's probably going to be people who are going to be seal clubbing at D and stuff anyway, just to get those. Having the higher ranked people, even if they are still alt accounts and stuff like that, at least they had to spend time to get there, and they get the higher scores, so it kind of gets rid of a little bit of that. Not all of it, but it's some sort of solution. We also have RP accumulation period. So now, within the event period, the top 3 RP accumulated from daily battles counted together as the latest RP. So it'd be over the weekend or a period of several days. And you would have the top 3 for your first day, your top 3 for your second day, and it would go in. But, of course, the issue with that was that if someone missed a single day, or didn't have enough time to get all the scores for one day, say they started super late, that would fuck them over. They wouldn't have enough time to get like a really good average, and so they would just kind of fall out of the running just like that. So now, and I want to say this is how it was at a previous time for maybe one of the past events. Well, now accumulating the top 3 RP of the battles within the event period using the latest RP made as reachable from in the period itself, as long as the player performs well. So now we're just doing it for the entire time. Top 3 overall. Which does mean if you knock it out and get these kind of scores in the first day, and you're just kind of eyeballing it and just aren't doing your runs every day, and that's It's actually something that I'm not super sure about here. Just by missing one day, yada yada yada. I don't know if that also means that like you can go as many times as you want, or if it's just going to be like an overall amount, like the same amount of attempts for each day is going to be the same. If so, then I guess you would still want to do your attempts for each day. But overall, it's just going to be the average across the entire event. So honestly, I'm okay with that. It might as well have been that way anyway. And now it just gives people more chances to actually get those really good matches. From here on, we have Brawl Match, Improved Score Difference Conversation for support units. The interesting thing is that they're saying that they're keeping the buffs for the, It's funny that they say before fix and then before fix. I'm assuming that has to be after fix. So they're keeping the buffs that they were giving them depending on the amount of units and the difference. But furthermore, if the category support unit bestowed additional buffs. So in here it says, since all the attenders of the Brawl Match become enemies of each other for the support units that are normally supporting their general and raid units within the same team, it's turning out to be harder. In order to improve this situation when support units are being used, score obtained is now increased. So I don't know if that's going to be a multiplier or if it's going to be like a set amount depending. It just kind of says additional buffs when we do the before and after. It'll be interesting to see people kind of quantify that as we go forward. And then it says, well, this is going to be the update for this week. But furthermore, with the new adjustments that are described for the 5th ranking matches, will start sooner than you think. Details will be announced later, so be sure to check it by then. So obviously, it's probably not going to be this week. I'm thinking maybe next week or the week after, maybe just later on in March. But that'll be interesting to see, and it is very surprising that we're going to be getting it this soon. But you know what? I can dig it. So we'll see how that works out. I'm kind of just beside myself that we're actually getting the EWAC this soon after we were just talking about it, but at the same time, I'm not expecting it to be super crazy or just stand out too much in 550, but it's nice that they're adding some more EWAC units in general. I'd like to see what this whole other mode is about and to see how many people absolutely dunk on this thing when it starts. Let's be honest, it's not going to be treated kindly. Not just because it's a banner suit, but because of what it is. All that animosity towards Isaacs is now just going to be put on a general, which I wonder if that means Isaacs are going to be chasing this thing around just for vengeance. But it's another technically unicorn suit. So, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people are going to be doing tokens for it. I'm going to do it just for the content, yada yada, if I can get my hands on it and see what that mode's all about. But overall, kind of a neat update. Be sure to look forward to this coming week. Not this week, coming week, but this week on the 24th. And until next time, this is Gustav the 13th. I'll talk to y'all later.